Hey folks, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with AstrologyMojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. And if you're new to me, what I tell people is that the planets don't do anything in astrology. They don't do anything to you. We feel everything because we're celestial, eternal, sentient beings. And how can you not feel everything? But the movement of the planets do not control you. Are we clear? 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 Okay, yes. So there's an awareness. We're going to be talking today about the Aries solar eclipse at 29 degrees. In a few weeks, we'll get to the lunar eclipse that's happening in the first week of May. But I just thought we'd start now because I think this is a really great jumping off point. Hey, Christy's here, and Rhonda, and anybody else who's here, just come say hello. What's really important to note that the sun and the moon are not planets. And these celestial orbs have a more direct effect on us. Without the sun, we would freeze. Without the moon, we would tumble out of orbit and drown in tsunamis. In fact, I think I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say once, if we did not have the collaboration of the sun and the moon, Earth would suddenly hurl itself between 800 and 1,000 miles an hour. You would, if the Earth, it couldn't spin on its axis anymore without the collaboration of the sun and moon, we would hurl 800 miles an hour in an instant. Like a fly on a windshield. Not a pretty thought, but hey, Barbie's here too. So what I want you to realize is that everything on this earth that you are experiencing is because of your vibration. Hands down. Your vibration. It's your vibe. That's what's happening. And so when you start to look at why is this happening, we have eclipses because the solar eclipse sheds light from above like a rainbow of happiness. And the lunar eclipse casts a glow. So you get that, what's happening? Or, oh my gosh, I just feel amazing. So what, it hurts. I hurl. Yes, it does hurt. So what's happening with the eclipses is when we feel the vibration, and we feel everything, sentient, eternal beings, got it? Celestial. So when we feel the vibration of something, we internalize it and have to negotiate with our biology around it. So sometimes in the northern hemisphere, the spring equinox feels like a little antsy. Things are starting to bloom. People start sneezing suddenly, violently. They just, want to get it done. And, what is that? Yesterday, we've been having a lot of rain here in Sedona. And we are on an aerobic system, which means we are not on city sewer. It's an older system, like the whole lot area right here. Some parts are on sewer. We are not. This is an older section of Sedona. And so the ground flooded. And when the ground floods, there's no place for the tank. Anything that goes down the drain, the sink, or the toilet goes into the tank. And if there's no room for it to leach into the field, it backs up. So it was so immediate, like the water started to rise in the tank. The flooding was there. And so we made the phone call, and that guy was busy helping 6 other houses. And then he called somebody. And so they were there, they drained it, done. So that's how fast you can move through something during an Aries equinox and an Aries solar eclipse. This particular solar eclipse is called a hybrid because of the way the arc of the Earth, the arc of the moon crossing between the sun and the Earth. And so some parts of the world, it'll mainly be seen in Australia, the northern and the northwestern area of Australia. So if you're, I have people from Australia who listen in, you'll be able to see it live and as it's happening. But other than that, we're just going to feel the pull. Like an accordion. I don't know why that made me think of Pritzi's honor. I have no idea why. Subterfuge. Okay, so what I want you to do is think about how are you going to kick this energy into gear? Are you going to suddenly explode at your neighbor who, didn't empty their trash and now it's all over your lawn and or whatever. So it's as you start to feel your feelings, I want you to get really clear on the influx of energy, like this rainbow here. I took this picture. This is right around the corner from my house. And it's like when weather happens here, it is phenomenal. We had hail in Sedona yesterday for 5 minutes. Now the sun was out this morning and now it's cloudy again. So we have weather. We don't have a climate, we have weather. And that energy of weather, for you to weather the storm, whether or not you are conscious, you are feeling it. Did I just do a little play on words? Yes, I did. So I want you to think really long and hard about where you're headed, because the trajectory without a helmet is akin to, Aries represents the head, sometimes the eyes, stubbornness. Yes, Taurus too, but it's tenacity. It is, I will, like the ram, it's symbol. It will just keep going till it gets what it wants. Or war and or. So we'll be looking at Ukraine in the next 2 months even more to see what's going to turn, what's the turning point for Ukraine in the next 2 months. Energies for the eclipses last, and they vary anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 months. It could be a year if it's the same set of eclipses. Eclipses happen in tandem, solar and lunar, sometimes solar, lunar, solar, or solar, lunar, lunar. There's a sandwich, but this time it's just 2. And then 6 months later, and they happen 2 weeks apart. So during this time frame, you're going to be able to, starting now, right now, ready, set, go, kick it into gear. Starting right now, you're going to be able to ask yourself, we hope, what do I want to do right now? What is my main goal? It could be anything like, I've been saying I want to clean out the garage or the shed for a year, 5 years, 10 years. I'm going to do it. And you're just going to, that's that extra oomph. So if you've been looking to help your body in any way, maybe start a new food plan or an exercise program, or to clean up all your computer files, anything dealing with communication, depending on where Aries is in your chart. And let's just take a look right now. Hi. If you're just joining us, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here. We're talking about the upcoming solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees. If you know where that is in your chart, it doesn't matter if you have a Aries sun, rising, or moon. Everybody has Aries in their chart, because on the wheel, let me show you, like as in this chart, let's just say you're a Taurus rising. Okay. Why is this not showing up? So weird. Okay. Let's just say you're a Taurus rising. There's the Taurus, and that's the rising sign on the ascendant. And so you could have Aries transiting through your 11th house now, and you could have stuff going on in your 12th house. So wherever your Aries is in your chart, you're going to see more activity, because your focus is on getting something done in that area. So we also have Jupiter in Aries right now. Mercury's in Aries right now. The sun is in Aries right now. And so Jupiter represents expansion, and it will be there until May when it enters Taurus. So take advantage of this time being present. Just be present all the time, and you can take advantage of your time in the best way possible. I'm going to pull a card from the Moonology Oracle deck. Yasmin Bolin. And so think about the thing that you want to get done, or the behavior that you would like to adopt or eradicate from your world. And or it's like this morning, I have some Aries in my chart, a few things. And sometimes my thoughts will suddenly burst into, and it's not because I have a Mercury in Aries that I am this way. It is because of who I am. and it is shown and expressed in the chart as like a lab report. So you get to see how you think, Mercury. So because I have a Mercury in Aries, not because of the planet, but because of who I am, but I look at the chart and go, oh, I have a Mercury in Aries. And then I get activated sometimes and I look and I go, I want to go do that right now. I'm leaving. But wait, you had a plan to. So I stop and think, consider. And I said to my husband, thank you so much for pivoting with me when I say I want to just do something. Let's go do it. And he loves that spontaneity because he also has a bit of spontaneity in him. And he helped me organize a series of readings that I can do for you, lunar and solar eclipses. So let me just put that in the link. It's in the, if you're watching this in Facebook or, in Facebook, you'll probably see the link. I'll have to put the link in if you're watching this in YouTube. But let me just get that for you right now. And I will put it in to the box, the chat box. And so you can go and get your Aries and then Scorpio. We're going to talk about that in a couple of weeks. The lunar eclipse, the solar and lunar eclipses. Right here. Grab your Kick and Go session here. There you go. May says Jupiter is, you have Jupiter in Aries. And so, and Jupiter is in Aries right now. So that's a great opening for you. That's a whole 12 months of, but it was interrupted with Pisces because Jupiter retrograded back and forth for you to decide how did you want to apply that spirituality. Okay, so let me just pull a card just to get you going and realize it's, we live in a world where anything is possible based on your thoughts, based on how your neurons are hardwired, the head. So your brain is going to go through some changes now during this solar eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees. And it's going to be, I could have had a V8. I never realized that. Or I just realized how, like, I plow through something and I go deaf to other people's suggestions. Or I suddenly get fiery in my temper. I don't. But, a person might realize, I realized that. Or I plow through something without thinking about it. Or I just suddenly felt like, I could get dressed up. We could go out. We could have sexy time. So there's so much going on with Aries energy that I could tell you that right now. I was talking about Pisces, balance, spirituality, and practicality. So that's the first card. And by the way, the actual symbol of Pisces, the fish are going in opposite directions, even though, yes, they're going in opposite directions, but they're back to back. That's what makes the symbol. So a call out to people who make artwork. If you're doing astrological artwork, the fish ought to be going back to back. So you get and where is it? Right there. See that? There's Aries. There's Pisces for the fish. But balancing spirituality and practicality is important now because Aries energy can be very straightforward. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's jump. Let's jump before we have a plan. If you are so inclined because you are spiritually drawn, intuitively drawn to do something, yay. But I want you to start paying attention to those little moments that just weasel worm their way into your feeling where something doesn't feel right. It feels off. What feels off? Where does it feel off? And you might be thinking, well, it used to feel off because I was never allowing myself to move forward. So I was in a place of resistance and limitation. And now I just want to springboard. I want to jump right in. I want to kick it into gear. I want to get it going. Okay, let's have a plan. Let's be practical. I'm also going to combine this with And next week, by the way, is the last day of the month, which the last Thursday of the month. And that's when I do oracle readings. So please join me for next week. And please like, share, subscribe. I really do appreciate that. Helps get my name out there, helps other people to be helped. This is Heavenly Bodies Astrology, Lily Ashwell. And that's the card I'm going to pull right now. So think about what it is that you want to get done. What do you want to get done? And why isn't it happening? Why? All right, let's take a look right here. And you might say, oh, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time, or, okay. The first question is, are you willing to make a transition? Are you willing to transform something? Are you willing to do something new? Because it might not feel good. But what happens is when we're hardwired, and this is neuroscience, when your brain is hardwired, which it is through experience, and whether it's positive, negative, or neutral, your brain is hard. Let me just move this for a second. Your brain is hardwired, and you anchor emotion to the experience or the thought, then you live your life and you say, oh, every time I go outside and it rains, I slip and I fall. So I'm not going to go outside anymore. Or if I do, I'm going to, go with really slow steps. I'm going to alter my trajectory. I'm going to move differently. I'm going to limit myself. So when you think like that, you stop really living. What are you? Pure conscious love. When are you? Right now. Celestial, eternal, sentient being. Now you might feel trapped in a body like, oh, if my body just, I hurt my ankle and I can't exercise, but there's chair exercises you can do. There are arm exercises you can do. So what you want to do is exercise your neurons and start doing something new every day. Do something different. Break up the pattern. My husband has the same food every day and he loves it. And at around 9:30 in the morning, that's when he has his first meal. It is a huge salad and it is filled with stuff. And then there's a fruit thing and that is filled with, and then and he loves a peanut butter or almond butter cup, not like a Reese's cup, but it's like actual almond butter. And then he likes a little bit of something in there, either a chocolate thing or whatever. So I baked some keto fudge, kind of like a cake. And I thought, we got to do something new. Every day is the same. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that if you want to expand your neurons and you want to learn how to do something new, you have to do something different that is outside of your comfort zone. That's just how you have to stretch it. And then you feel the feelings around that. So what I did the other day was I took a little square of the fudge that I made, the cake, and I sliced it, and it's no sugar, it's keto. And I poured a little peanut butter in there and I smashed it together. And I said, how about a funny bone? You remember those? Who remembers funny bones filled with chemicals and stuff? But it was chocolate cake, essentially, with peanut butter on the inside. And he was like, that is great. And I said, instead of that same kind of potato, how about we do this? And he was like, oh my God, that was amazing. So when you do these things, and my husband is by no means a sedentary person. He's always ripe for change and ready to jump in. But when you personally are stuck in a rut and you're doing the same thing over and over again, what happens is there's a part of you that is just like, it's like spring. It just wants to burst through the soil and become something. You're becoming. What are you becoming? You're so becoming in that color. You're so becoming with those thoughts. So now let me go to Lily Ashwell's cards. How's everyone doing? Please stop by, say hello. I do have many spots available for at least 10, for the solar and the lunar eclipse reading. And what we're going to look at is where it's happening in your chart, where both of them are happening, the solar and lunar, and what you can do to facilitate whatever transformation you're about to make, and how to alter the neurons, how to change the pattern, so that you step outside your comfort zone and you literally transform something. And then when you do that and you go beyond resistance, what happens is you create a whole new vibration that looks and feels like a rainbow. And then suddenly it starts to come to you and you break the pattern of having to always go get it. Isn't that exhausting to have to always go get it? Oh, so this is the card that came out, House 1, and Aries in astrology rules the first house. It guides the first house. Mars does. So individuality, self-image, and approach to life. House 1. This is what's changing. Thank you, Lily Ashwell. House 1. This is the beginning of the next phase. And there's a heart, there's fluttering, there's an egg. You're breaking out of the shell. I love that. So what is it that you want to do? And how do you want to do it? That's why I'm here to help. So if you get stuck, or you just think, or you hear yourself saying something that sounds negative or limiting or like, oh, well, that's never going to happen. They're not going to do that. Why would they do that? We're going to stop that thinking. And we're going to then think something new. I wonder what it would be like if they did that. Oh, that would be exciting. So then you go from feeling everything is vibration. So then you go from feeling smaller, contracting, limited, resistant. They're never going to do that. Why would they do that? There's no way. They blah, blah, blah. And then you shrink. Now switch it to, I wonder what it would be like if they did that. Oh, you feel a little bit looser in the shoulders and the neck. And you're like, that would feel great. But no, there's no but. What does it feel like to have the thing you want? What does it feel like to be the person you want to be? What does that feel like? Because until you actually have that vibration going on in here, you will not match the vibration to bring it to you. That's how manifesting works. That's what I want to teach you in the sessions. So I hope this is making sense. All right, I'm going to do one more from Lily's deck. Here's the interesting thing about a solar eclipse, and that is a solar eclipse is like seeing what you've been manifesting, and it's in your face. Now, sometimes a solar eclipse can be a masculine energy, male, female, non-binary, but it can be a very strong energy that is proactive. Or it is a kind of a directional signal that takes you to, oh, you were looking for that. I was. And then I let it go because I couldn't find it. And now there it is. That's magical. Things will feel magical during eclipse time, but sometimes they feel shocking. Now, it's not because the eclipse is doing something negative to you. It means it's just highlighting. It's like I remember being a kid, my Uncle Pete took me and my sister to a circus. Now, my father couldn't do it because he had hay fever. So he was always sneezing around, animals or in the hay that they would feed them. So we went to the circus. I remember being 7 years old and I was always so humble about, no, you don't have to, that's okay. You don't need to buy me anything. It's okay. And so my uncle said, hey, they have little flashlights. And it was a Barnum and Bailey flashlight. It had a red cap, I remember. And I felt so bad that he would have to spend money on me. I was 7. I had to get over some poverty consciousness in my lifetime. So anyway, so my uncle's like, are you sure? He's like, it's okay. It's okay. And my sister said, I'll take one. So she got one and we shared it. But at night, what I would do is I took the flashlight when my sister gave it to me and I stuck it under my finger and I turned on the light and I could see through my finger. I thought that was the most amazing, magical thing. I was 7 years old, putting a little flashlight on the back of my finger so I could see through it. And I thought, oh, there's so much I don't know. There's so much I don't know. Eclipses literally shed light on what you're doing, who you are, where you're going, where you come from, what doesn't work for you anymore. So if you've been looking for a modality, if you've been looking for a solution, if you've been looking for what's the problem, I don't understand the problem. Sometimes you can't find the solution because you don't know the problem. But then if you've been in therapy for years, you're not going to get to the solution because you're focused on the problem. You see, so you have to temper. So it's about calibrating, and eclipses show you the light. And they show you the direction. The doors open and doors close. So if a door closes in an eclipse and you stand there trying to wiggle the handle and bang on it, but the door right next to you is opening, let's point to that. The rainbow door is opening and you're not looking at it because you're focused on, I gotta, it's like that Aries energy of I gotta get in, I gotta get in, I gotta get it done. Then just settle, get present, take a nice deep breath. Who are you? You're pure conscious love. You're an extension of light. You are a sentient, eternal, celestial being. You're a rainbow. So why do you have to work so hard? Why do you think you have to work so hard? Why do you think it's so hard? Because you told yourself, somebody told you, or you experienced something that was hard, and then you grounded that in, well, it's hard. It just is. Our kid did something amazing. Last year, they were in they got hit by a car. They didn't. Their car did. And the car was totaled. They're fine. Everybody was fine. My kid has amazing surrounded, like protection around them all the time. And I'm always like throwing some extra. And, but then they had to start dealing with, they're 23 and they had to start dealing with car insurance stuff and insurance companies and, sales lots and whatever. And it made them really freaked out. So we gave them some guidelines. My husband even made a little video and said, here's some things to look for. And they literally have been looking for another pre-owned car and the questions to ask and not to get swayed by, oh, I love the color. Or I've always wanted, a Forester or whatever. But to actually get practical. What was that card? Oh, I put it away. It's getting practical. Get practical with how you want to expand. And then the doors open and the rainbows come. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is going to be the lunar eclipse that we're going to be talking about in the next couple of weeks. Intensity. I can't even read that. Exposing, purging, and renewing. That's what's coming up the first week of May, and with the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And so the eclipses work in tandem. So when you get a light shed on something that needs to alter, you need to give it your attention and then pull back the attention and start looking at the feeling makes the matter. So what's the matter? You're the matter, and your matter is divine. So as soon as you alter the vibration in here, the neurons begin to change. You do something a little bit new. It's a little out of your comfort zone, like our kid. And they were like, they asked all the questions. They were like, okay, I'll call you back. And they were negotiating. Can you, what's the best price you could do? Could you come down to, how about this amount? And that they did it. They did something new for the first time. And then when it was all over and they got the car, and they called, Mom, can we just chat for a little bit? I was like, sure, honey. That was new. That was different. Oh my gosh. Yes. When you do something new, it's going to feel like, I remember the first time I went to see, I had written a book. Let me back it up. I had written a book called Minutes to Manifesting, How to See It, Get It, Keep It. And I use that book as a teaching tool in my astrology programs. And, but at the time, I was thinking, I need a testimonial for this book. I need someone with a name who's done this work before. So, lo and behold, guess what? 3 weeks later, I get a notification that there's going to be some speakers here in Sedona. And one of them was John Asseroff. He was in the movie The Secret. And he also is a entrepreneur called One Coach. And he talks about neuroscience, and he's worked with doctors and stuff, and he's measured things kind of like a Joe Dispenza, but different, because he's more focused on using that energy for creating a business and becoming, successful at it and financially successful. So I thought, and so this lineup of speakers came to Sedona, and my husband and I went. And I went in with the intention that I just felt it. Somebody who was going to be speaking on stage today is going to give me a testimonial for my new book. And so I didn't know what. So I listened to all the speakers and I thought, okay, my husband said, what about that one? I go, I don't think so. I love what they have to say, but I don't think so. And I thought, okay, I just asked the universe to open a door like a rainbow, to open a door and have it be so obvious. Have it be so obvious. And a thing I used to say all the time is wisdom comes from knowing the order of things. And you're the first order of your business. So, I'm listening to speakers, and then John Assaraf gets up on stage and he's talking about, circuitry in the brain and how you can change that and alter that. And when you do, you attract different experiences and how you can apply that to your business. And then he's a very gentle, tall man, very tall, kind man, a Virgo. And he said, and wisdom comes from knowing the order. And I was like, and I grabbed my husband's hand and I was like, it's him. That's the one. So I waited till all the talks were over. And then he was signing his book at the back of the room. And I waited in line to talk to him. And I had my manuscript with me. And not that I was thinking I would give it to someone that day, but at least I would have it as like, this is why I'm here. This is my purpose. So I was so nervous. I was scared out of my mind. I was shaking in my boots. I'd never done anything like this before. And so I thought, well, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? They say no. He says no. And then I feel embarrassed and horrible. And I go home and I cry and, and I eat a sandwich. What's the worst that can happen? So then I started thinking, well, as I watch him talking to people, and he just reminded me of like a compassionate pastor. And because he's such a tall guy, he was not looking down on people, but he was looking down because they were shorter than he was. So I thought, I'm going to match his vibe. I'm going to match his vibration. So I calmed down in my body and I settled. And it was my turn. I was like, John, thank you so much. John, thank you so much for the talk. It was so inspiring. And, I've listened to you before and I really appreciate everything. And I was very genuine. And I said, I'm wondering if you would be willing, if you felt it was appropriate, if you would be willing to read my latest book on manifesting for my clients, and if you felt it appropriate to give me a testimonial for it. And he looked at me and he said, I want you to go over to that table right there. That's my wife, Marie. And I want you to give her your information. I want you to send me the book. I'm happy to do that. And I thought, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And good luck with your new book. And, and I bought a copy, of course. And so my husband and I went out right behind him on the balcony. And we were looking out, and I looked at my husband and I just burst into tears. Because I had held in the nerves and the emotion. And plus I had never done this before. So it's not unlikely that during this eclipse phase that you will let go of something that you've been hanging on to. Could be a person, could be a feeling, could be an attitude, but it all stems from your energy. Because you're going to be altering your energy. Isn't that something exciting? Because when you do, you're going to stretch your brain, create new neurons, and you're going to anchor those. And then you're going to start magically, it feels magical, start attracting to you those things that you've been wanting, thinking about, working toward. It almost feels effortless. That's the point. Why? Because you're pure conscious love. You're an extension of the light. You're a sentient, eternal, celestial being. Why are you making it so hard? Doesn't have to be. All right, folks. Any comments or questions? Thanks for being here. I appreciate you listening, for your attention. And I want you to like, share, subscribe. Please spread the word. And also remember that next Thursday, I'll be here for Oracle reading. So come back so you can get some answers to your questions. And then on April, I believe it's the 6th. I don't have my calendar right in front of me. Hang on. April 6th, we are going to be it's a full moon, by the way, on April 6th. And we're going to be talking about the lunar eclipse that's coming up the first week of May. So, thank you for being here, folks. Thank you for being, as always, I wish you peace, a bit of Machu Picchu. I wish you peace. And remember to go grab your Kick It Into Gear session for both the lunar and the solar eclipses. All right. I will see you next week. Have a beautiful week. Thank you.